Nice view this morning. Heading to WTM, quick update on AI. So yesterday or today in London was the OpenAI developer conference in San Francisco. Absolutely the biggest day so far in AI. So just for those that forgot, OpenAI is ChatGPT, half owned by Microsoft. So it's been the leader since it came out almost 12 months ago now, still the leader. And as of today, it's miles in front of everybody else. So a few things they came out with yesterday. One, they updated their dates, their knowledge. So the general knowledge now is April 2023, which for a lot of people is good. So it's still not up to date, but it's got that much more recent knowledge. They increased the context window, so that's the size, that's the amount of words that you can send in a prompt and get back in the same prompt. So that used to be 4,000 or 8,000 tokens, which is about 6,000 words. Today, that is 128,000 tokens, which is about 100,000 words, which is a book. So I can now upload a book and ask for a summary, or I can do a quick prompt and ask it to write a book or anything in between. Other thing they say they fixed on that, because that was possible previously via Anthropic, which has got a 100,000 limit, so just a bit smaller. It kind of remembers the start of what you send and the end, but kind of misses out the middle. So OpenAI say they fixed that so it can remember the 100,000 words that you upload. Yet to be tested. That's what they say. So that was kind of Anthropic's main. Anthropic, the company, just raised $4 billion from Amazon. Their main thing was this context window. It's also very good, but it's not quite ChatGPT. So they did that. They've released a lot of this multimodal stuff, right? So multimodal is text to image, image to text, text to audio, audio to text, all that stuff. So that's now all available via API. So if I wanted to, I could upload 1,000 images and have them classify them, sort them, describe them, whatever I want. I think I can also batch create images, which I don't know if that's valuable. You still need to look at each image one by one. Images on OpenAI is called DALL-E. That's the sort of image model that's now available within ChatGPT itself, which has been there for a couple of weeks, which is also really good. It's probably the best image creator today. It's up there with Midjourney, which others say is the best. So that's really good, and it's part of the same thing now. So they've really incorporated a lot of the last year's developments into ChatGPT itself. They've brought plugins kind of back. I'll describe that in a second, which is the most important thing absolutely that happened yesterday. So I think anyone that's been building a tool, an AI tool, just using kind of OpenAI or ChatGPT without industry knowledge or without anything more specific or some specific data is in a lot of trouble, because OpenAI has now released most of those tools on the front end for B2C, so that anyone can access it, but also more importantly via API. So now you can access these deep tools, which is pretty clever, because OpenAI is so far ahead. I think you're going to have to build into these tools now with OpenAI rather than the other models, which is just going to keep them still further ahead. It's going to be really hard for the other big players to catch up, but they've also got unlimited budgets. Who knows what can happen? So the biggest sort of direction this went today, though, is this agent space, which I've been talking about forever. I love the agent thing. I think this is where this keeps going. And also the sort of auto GPT, which is approaching. So the agent, you can now build an agent within ChatGPT. It's called a GPT, which is going to get confusing, but it's called creating a GPT. And you basically create a GPT. So I say via words, I want you to create a GPT to be a travel agent or a tour guide of London. I give it a tone, I give it a personality, and it remembers all these things, so it's kind of a stable agent now. I can then upload docs to that agent. So if I've written 10 history books about London, I can now upload all of those 10 books to my agent within OpenAI. I can then give access to anybody. So I can speak to Johnny over here and say, listen, download or go to this link, and you can chat with my agent, with my travel guide of London. And it's going to access the books which I uploaded and the general knowledge of ChatGPT and have a chat, create a tour, whatever I want to do, which is a huge step. Obviously that's just a travel guide example, but you could create these for anything. So you can create now internal docs for your company where you upload all of your operations and employee handbooks and all that stuff, and you can create an HR agent, and you can create a marketing agent on the side of it, and you can create the finance agent, and you can create those now today within ChatGPT. Along with these docs, the difficult thing about the docs before, this has always been kind of possible with some coding and some messing. You have to turn your docs into these vector databases, and it's messy. The hardest thing before was when you've got company information here and you've got general information here from OpenAI, knowing when to access each. So sometimes if you've got a customer on a chatbot, say, sometimes you need to use your company information. It's important for cancellation policies or that kind of thing. And sometimes you want it to access general knowledge, and it didn't always know when to access this versus that. Now OpenAI fixed that internally, so they'll decide based on the prompt where to look for that information. If that works, it's going to change everything. So now agents on the fly, I can make myself a London tour guide agent today, give it access to as much information as I want if it doesn't already have it, and I can release that as a product for anybody to go and chat with my tour guide agent. I could then, within the same app, because the other thing it does is write code, so if it can't find the response in the prompt, it can create a bit of code to go and find that, which is kind of the auto GPT piece. And don't forget the multimodal. So at the same time, it could create images, it can create a map, it can create an audio snippet of the Tower of London, all within my agent without me having to do any coding or integration or anything, which is pretty crazy. And there's a few other bits around that agent piece. There's another thing called an assistant, which is quite similar to an agent. I've got to work out the difference between the two. But these, as opposed to a lot of the other announcements, what they release today is generally out today. Most people have access to most of these tools today, maybe on the paid versions for some of it. They also announced they're going to work with some larger companies because it's going to be expensive, but some really custom fine-tuned models. We'll have to see if that makes a big difference, if you can use these free tools and be ahead of the game, or if some of the big players, the Bookings and the Expedias, can get ahead by working really closely with OpenAI and building some of these custom fine-tuning. So it's yet to be seen, I think, where this takes us. In some respects, something like TripAdvisor could build a custom fine-tuning with OpenAI if they have the budget, which I assume they do for this. But I'm not sure if that gets them ahead of what you could build on your own in your basement today using ChatGPT API or even just a tool on the front end. So I think this really opens the door for people to build tools quickly. Whether they should or not is a different matter, because anything that you can do today in your basement and release this afternoon, anybody else can do as well. Which kind of takes us back to the distribution aspect, where the big players come back. So the TripAdvisors and the Viators and the Expedias and Bookings have the distribution. So when they release these tools, they've already got millions of users, whereas you as a startup, if you're a startup, you still got to find that distribution, which has generally been the hardest thing. So tons of stuff out there, really exciting times. I'm going to take a few days to sort of digest what's happened, and I'll probably do an update in a few days with some more ideas. I'm at WTM today. Say hi if you see me up there. I'm interested to get lots of other sort of perspectives on what just happened with this AI stuff today. Been talking to lots of folks yesterday just on the direction of some of this stuff. So that's it, probably the biggest day. Some of it you'll see immediately, and some of it you'll see in a few days and weeks as people start to build tools. But this is going to happen really fast because they've built a lot of the tools for you. You just need to kind of set them into action now. That's all. Till next time, and hope to see you at WTM. Bye.